Mary Buford Hitz. Mary Buford Hitz was connected to something called Rural Nelson, which Al Weed will probably tell us a little bit about. But I think you were secretary. You remember that?
I do.
I do. Mary Buford Hitz has a connection with a mountain that's up at Afton, and then she maybe has a little bit of that to tell you. But she's written a book on what Gene talked about, the 10,000 acres, which was owned by the Coleman family for love of the land. And you can get that either off of Amazon, or you can get it through the Nature Foundation.
You can't get it on Amazon.
You can.
Only at the Nature Center.
Only at the Nature Foundation now. But she's been an author and a community supporter for a long time, and thank you for being here today. Mary Buford Hitz.
And I don't recognize the lady with the brown hair. I'm going to spare you this because you all are from Nelson and you know it better than I do. But I will tell you a wonderful story. And I got involved originally about 20 years ago because our daughter had a very bad horseback riding accident and came to Agnes Schreider in Nelson County to get treated. And it went on for 6 months, and whenever I would bring her down, I would just walk all over wherever I could in the county because she was there for 3 and 4 hours at a time. And I, just like Ernie Reed, I fell in love with Nelson County. It was like nothing else that I knew in Virginia. Even Albemarle next door doesn't compare. And because of that, I got involved with Al Weed in rural Nelson. And that led to all kinds of interesting learning for me more about Nelson. And I was asked to, I'm a writer, and was asked to write this book. And it's specific to wintergreen. And I'm going to tell you one story from it because it's such a great one. The time was early on when surveyors were in the wilderness of Crawford's Knob, before there was legislation protecting birds. The surveyors came across a big owl way up in a tree. The surveyors were throwing rocks at it. George Vest, who worked with the early beginnings at Wintergreen, who knew the big survey, as those 10,000 acres were called in those days, like he knew them like the back of his hand, said, "You fellows want to hit that owl?" He picked up a rock, and with perfect aim, he hit the owl head on. It tumbled to the ground as if it was dead. Now the surveyors felt badly, and it was decided to put it in the back seat of the truck with a wooden apple crate over it. They hadn't gotten far down the mountain when the apple crate began to dance in the back seat, knocked into the driver, hitting the driver who lost control. The truck ended up turned over in the ditch. George Vest and the surveyor had to come out the window, followed by the owl who'd gotten himself out of the crate. And if you're interested in Hurricane Camille, I also wrote a novel called Riding, as in horseback riding, to Camille. And it's the characters are made up, but the background is all factual because that became another fascination for me, learning about Hurricane Camille.